Good afternoon. It is M, also known as Wolf Bunches. If anyone saw, for the brief time it was up, my emotional breakdown, I am very sorry you had to see that. But I decided I'm not giving up. Certain people in my life would want that, and I'm not going to let them have that. Absolutely not. I'm not going to give anyone the satisfaction of seeing me give up. You hear that, Mother? Yeah, Mother and I are officially enemies. She is a mother no longer to me. My hair is wet, forgive that. Just had me a nice Epsom salt bath. Now, if anyone actually saw the other video before I deleted it, I am wearing the new mesh top, and I love this thing very much. It is so cool. Now, something new I want to talk about, and it's a story I've been writing for a very long time now, and has a lot to do with the character I've got back here on the wall. I haven't given him a middle name, but his name is Damon Dietrich. And along with him, I have 11 other characters. I will give you the full list in the next video when I have them all written down nicely. I know this has been done to death, but all these characters are animal hybrids, which I think is very neat. I came up with that idea years and years ago. Long time ago. It's like each one of them, as I made them, represents another part of my personality. Mainly the ones that were forced to be silenced by the people in my life, if you could even call them people. I was looking for a comb. I don't have one up here right now. My hair's a fucking mess. Pardon my English. So yeah, as it turns out with Mother Dearest, I am merely her daughter of convenience. I'm only here because she wanted something from me. I'm not gonna give that to her anymore. That's what maids and home nurses are for. Because I have a man in my life and we want to get the fuck out of here. Again, and pardon my English. We want to get as far away from this pit as we possibly can. As far away from that woman as we possibly can. Because let's just face back, I am not happy with her right now. You ever have one of those people that just likes to bombard your brain as soon as you wake up in the morning? Yeah, this bitch is one of those. And she knows I hate it too. She made sure to get started as early as possible this morning. I know what she's trying to do. She's trying to get me and my boyfriend to fight. So that way he ends up leaving. And she has all control over me again. Well, I hate to break it to you, old woman, but it don't work that way. Because I have a brain, and I know what you're trying to do. So, you can fuck all the way off with that shit, bitch. Now, anyways, back to the story that I'm working on. If you were to actually read it, you would see that the main character is not one of the hybrid characters. It's actually a wizard. An ancient old wizard named Zintor the Tolerated, is what he calls himself. Zintor the Tolerated. Yeah, there's a lot of comedy in this story, and most of it comes from this wizard. And see, it was actually my sister helped come up with a name for that wizard. She had a lot of input when it came to creating him. Because one thing I know she can do is write a silly character. I like to do impressions of him, of what he would sound like. And forgive my very, very poor impersonation here. Or I'm not a voice actor by any means. But he would sound like, "You can call me Zinto. You're tolerated." And he would hold up his staff, his crooked old staff, and just every time he would do that, freaking bugs would fly everywhere. Because he's a nature wizard. I know that probably doesn't make any sense, but it's funnier on paper. And now, the character Damon that I mentioned, he actually ends up cycling through 3 different animal hybrid forms. First a crow, then a raven, and then a dragon. He goes from a crow to a raven after getting his wings cut off, Maleficent style. Only he was fully conscious for the whole thing. It was a very brutal scene to write. Very brutal. I would have made myself up for y'all, but I couldn't be bothered. I just came up here and decided to make the video since Mother pissed me off again. She's always mad at me, but can never pinpoint what it is I've done. My whole life I've dealt with that. She never tells me what I've done wrong. Or is it just everything I've done is wrong? I don't understand that. I really don't. But anyway, bitches aside, I may not have their names here in front of me, but I can tell you each hybrid character that I've got. Not counting the crow, raven, dragon dude first. I have a fox, who later becomes a phoenix, because she is actually one of the big main characters besides just the wizard. We got a dingo. We got a moth, a butterfly, a bull, a rat, a wasp. Specifically tarantula hawk. Because those little fuckers I hear are vicious. Thank God we don't have them up here. Because, yeah, that's a kill it with fire situation. Oh yeah. The recent addition is a snowy owl. I'm trying to think if I can remember any other ones. Oh, swan. She's a fun one. And in the actual story, when she's not in her hybrid form, she's actually a ballerina. And I did that on purpose. Because Swan Queen, you know. Well, there's a whole separate guild of all direwolves. I had a little bit of Game of Thrones inspiration for them. There's a bear. Eventually going to introduce some aquatic hybrids. You know, octopus, shark, dolphin, that kind of thing. I have a lot of characters, but they're never all in one scene together. That's just ridiculous. At one point I wanted to write my own creepypasta, but I kept going in circles. And I have a talking cat. It was based on a recently deceased cat of mine. The cat in the story, her name is Layla, but the cat that she is based off of, her name is Foxy. Little gray cat. I love that cat. Now, this is actually really cute. I had this whole scene written out. I even had an AI create the picture. There's a scene in the wizard's library, in Zentor's library, where he has all his books just floating around the room. And then all of a sudden, Layla, the cat, just hops up onto one. And then another, and then another. And before you know it, you see in the background, she's just floating, orbiting the whole library on a book. No one mentions it either. It's just something that happens in the background. But yeah, the story is very near and dear to my heart, and if anyone ruins it, God help you. I'm sitting in my swivel chair today. Yeah, I figured I'd bring up my story, because my story for today is absolute bullshit. So I want so badly to put that woman in an old folks home. That's where she belongs. She belongs in a freaking care facility. I cannot put up with her anymore. I can't. I can't do it. I can't keep doing it. I have to literally try to escape reality just to keep myself sane. I'm sorry, I know I keep messing with my hair. It's wet. It's a mess. Excuse me. Just a minute, I will be right back. Okay. I heard a noise outside my door. Wanted to make sure that there was not a cat fight going on. Oh, I have a rabbit character too. She's a little Korean girl. Very tiny. I don't know if this is actually a Korean sounding name, but I named her Tsumi Myung. Her special ability is that she can jump at least 13 feet into the air. And that's actually a little funny story. A little story I can tell you. My boyfriend hates rabbits. And the reason why he hates rabbits is because of his ex. She was absolutely obsessed with rabbits. So, I can understand why he hates rabbits. Every time I mention we have rabbits in the yard, he said we should eat them. I'm not sure why you'd want to eat a rabbit, but I know there's people that would. We've actually got the AC on today. Oh, that reminds me. Everybody doing okay out there in the heat? Everybody out there doing okay? Because that's not pleasant. It is very not pleasant. Because that's the last thing I want to hear is people roasting to death in their own homes. So that's why I'll never live in the city. It's so much hotter in the city than it is out in the country. And the place I live is barely suburban. I look out the window, it looks like we're out in the boonies, you know? But I've grown to like that because it's not noisy, it's not nearly as hot, and you're not surrounded by buildings that act as a wind tunnel when it gets windy. And just a little FYI, because I am so passionate about my handwritten story, you will be hearing about it a lot, and I mean a lot. Because I have been developing my characters since middle school, and they mean the world to me. Because then you got the Fox girl. Her name is Bianca Wallace. She is the dragon, Damon. She is his love interest. But they don't figure that out until a lot later. They're the type that pretend to hate each other, you know? Yeah, that kind of shit. I don't know why I always thought that was kind of cute, you know? The pretend I hate you, but I really don't kind of trope. It was sort of like when I first met my boyfriend. The night after I left that house, or it wasn't even a house, it was the night I left that apartment. I get a message from him a couple hours later asking why am I still awake. We weren't even officially friends yet on Facebook, and he just messages me just like, why are you up? Go to bed. I know he was just messing with me, trying to, you know, poke at me a little bit, see if I'll poke back. Because apparently I fascinated him, as did he. He fascinated me when I first met him. I'm not going to tell you his actual name, but I misheard the first time. I thought his name was Harry. And this may make me sound very lazy, but I have not been awake for very long. I'm going to make a post on Facebook saying I'm thinking about quitting tattooing because business is so slow again. And then they all just start popping out of the woodwork. I guess it makes them all feel like they're being taken, or I'm being taken for granted, almost. Some of the things people have said to me throughout my life, they actually should feel like shit for that. They really should. Like when I was in 4th grade, I was one of those girls who was developing early, you know? And I had this one girl put a sticky note on my back that said, "See my bra." I hate to break it to you, honey bun, but in a couple years you were going to be wearing one too. So, it's not my fault. That was genetics. I'm going off on a lot of tangents. I blame the 3 cups of coffee I had this morning. And I am going to make the decision, because my knee is so bad, I will start walking with a cane soon. But I'm going to make sure it's a nice one. Because I used to use one once. Hurt my foot. Was walking with one for a little bit. It wasn't that bad. Now that I'm almost 40, you know, it would be almost appropriate now. Now here's another fun little story time. I survived COVID. Someone around here tried to spread a rumor that I had died from it. No, I did not. I caught it, yes. I was not sick for very long. It was unpleasant, yes. But I've had worse. And I probably shouldn't have said that, because now I'll probably end up getting arrested. But well, then again, I don't know how the world works anymore. I really don't. I know my face is turning a little bit red. It's a little bit warm in here. I got the AC on, but it is still a little bit warm in here. And it was really hot a couple days ago. Holy crap. I was afraid my tattoo equipment was gonna melt. I really did. So yeah, if anyone who hears this and ends up getting curious and wants to hear more about the magical world that my story takes place in, I'll gladly tell you more, because I'm about to tell you more. So I just realized I should be talking about that. You see, the characters, they all meet this magical talking cat. Because one of the main characters owns a video game store. Just on the outskirts of their hometown. And there's this, right by the woods, a portal opens up. And out hops the cat. And she's holding this leather-bound book, very tiny little book. Called the Animalia Codex. And spoilers, that's what turns people into animal hybrids when they open it. The twist of it is, they don't get to decide what animal they get. The book decides for them. Which is why it's so unfortunate for the guy who turns into a rat. Actually, I can give you the names of the core four, as I call them. You got the leader of the guild, Bianca Wallace. Her second in command, Damon Diedrich. The third, Eduardo Sandoval. And the fourth is Gary Watson. I had to use a fake name generator to help me come up with those names, because I'm just not good with names. And if anyone out there actually has one of those names, I am very, very sorry. These were completely picked at random. I can't control if there's any overlap. Now the cat, Layla, she's what you call a portal jumper. She goes through all the different realms through portals. Sort of like, in the book, The Magician's Nephew. I kind of got the idea from that. The forest full of portals. But this is called the Dimensional Grove. The deeper in you go, the older and more dangerous the portals become. But there's one they can always find, and that's the portal to Zintor's world. Every time they go through that portal, it always spits them out right inside his tree castle. And he lives in a giant castle that's carved out of a tree. I can't wait to draw that, by the way. I know this sounds like a frickin' fever dream, doesn't it? cat, she ends up in their world, which is a little town called Underwood. And a bunch of them just happen to be standing around when she hops out, because something's chasing her. I don't specify until much later of what's chasing her. But it is a being corrupted by a chaos spirit, is what's chasing her. Yeah. I'm not gonna go into too much more detail about that, because then I'll end up here sitting here spewing out the whole damn story, and I don't want to do that. Because that would ruin it. At least it would for me. It would ruin the fun. Now, the cat actually knows the wizard. So which is why Layla, the cat, ends up in Underwood, is because all of the people who become the animal hybrids, they all live in the little city of Underwood. And Layla goes there because the wizard Zintor says that he speaks highly of the people from Underwood, even though he only knows 13 of them. Because there's a prequel that I made also, where all these people met in the first place. They answer the call of the wizard one by one and join what's called the Guild of Dawn to defeat a wicked queen. I know this all sounds very strange, but I am just so into this kind of stuff. The weirder, the better. Because I am a weird motherfucker. Pardon my English. Surprisingly enough, there's not a whole lot of swearing or vulgarity in my story. There's a spicy scene here and there, but not a whole lot of, over-the-top madness. Because I don't like taking things too far. Especially if I expect other people to read it. Because I'm gonna let people read it eventually, once it's finally done. I'm just trying to think where else to go with this. And don't ask where I came up with the idea for the book, the name for it. It's kind of complicated. I know what the word codex means, but I don't know where I came up with Animalia from. Now, there's actually an art project that I'm going to be working on in regards to this. Because one thing I like to add into my stories, any of them, is a little bit of analog horror. Because there is horror, a lot of it, in this story. I talked about some of the lighthearted stuff, but there's some really dark shit in my stories. Like for the prequel, Damon is not one of them. He is in fact a minion of this wicked queen. And this art project I'm working on is his diary. The last page ends right before he is taken. By who? By what? They don't know. But it's a minion or another emissary, I guess, for this wicked queen, whose name will be revealed later. Because she was named after, I gave her a name from Anunnaki lore. Because that shit just fascinates me. Little FYI that I used to be absolutely obsessed with the myth of the planet Nibiru. Don't come for me. I just thought it was a neat concept. I should have called her Queen Nibiru. I really should have, but no. That would have been too obvious. But yeah. Went and got a nice big book, about like that thick, to turn into this dark, very dark diary. I even plan on purposely stressing the pages to make it look old. I mean, not like ancient old, more like 10 years old, something like that. Because he's only captive for like, what, 3 years, roughly. And it's during that prequel where they meet the wizard. I'm probably not going to talk too much more about this, or I'll be here all afternoon and I'll waste my battery. And thank the gods I'm not on anything today. No, except maybe, what is it, knockoff Zyrtec? And for some reason, it's actually working today. Either that or it's got so hot these past few days, I just killed all the pollen. I know that can't really happen, but I should really make sure my hair is in order from now on before doing this shit. I look like I just got back from the frickin' gym. Which, by the way, I wish like crazy I had a gym membership. I really do. Because I have a lot of loose skin to tone up. Now, what is my problem with Mother today? Well, she's sick. And she's taking it out on me. I no longer accept her apologies when she acts up. I don't. I've heard it somewhere that if somebody constantly apologizes, you should just say, noted. Because you know their apologies mean nothing. And that is exactly what I did. Every time, the past week, every time she has apologized or attempted to, all I said was, noted. And yes, I have very few teeth. My mouth makes a lot of weird noises. The same depression that destroyed my teeth and made me what I am right now is the same depression that gave birth to all of these characters and the concept of this world building that I'm doing. The depression destroyed me in a way, but at the same time it brought something out of me that was really cool, in my opinion. Because yes, Damon was the original, the first character that I created. Out of a whole lot of them, he was the first one. One part of the story, they actually fought a Yeti. He was like a corrupted mountain guardian. They had to purify him, save the world, you know. It's sort of like a villain of the week kind of story. Kind of had that little format going there. If anyone out there sees this and wants to throw some ideas at me, please do. I'll give you full credit whenever I decide to post it anywhere. because I hate mental blocks. And I don't want to turn to an AI. I don't. Another thing I actually did use the AI for was I asked it to help me come up with some near-death experiences for my characters. And when I say near-death, I mean illness and injury that's so severe that they come within an inch of losing their life. Oh, and it actually gave me some pretty good ones. That's actually one thing I believe AI can be good for, is helping you overcome a mental block. Because that actually is true. It has helped me a couple of times in the past few months. But I would never use it to write the whole damn story. That's just cheating. Asking it for ideas, though, is not a bad idea. Just, don't give it too much. Once I turn this off, I'm actually going to go downstairs and start work on Damon's diary. I cannot wait to do this, because it's going to be filled with writings of paranoia, dark thoughts, song lyrics, poetry, a few things written backwards. Like, I don't know why it'd be backwards, but I used to do that all the time to trick people. I used to be so paranoid. This is a separate story. I used to be so paranoid of people writing, or people reading what I've written, that I have resorted to using codes. Made up my own fake language. Use a number code. I roll upside down, backwards, with only glow-in-the-dark ink. Because of what somebody did. It was during study hall. I had a counselor come up from behind me, pick up my notebook that I was writing in, and he read it out loud. Embarrassed me in front of the whole room. And he had the nerve to ask what was wrong with me in front of all these people. And then he said, "Stop doing this and read the book." I didn't even have a book in front of me. What was he expecting me to read? The dictionary? I know this sounds really mean, but I would have loved to have dropped a brick on his head. But enough about that prick. Pardon my English. I know I'm being quiet. It's been a little bit since I said anything of meaning. I deleted all my other videos because I realized I was getting a one-track mind. I needed to stop that. When I'm sitting here thinking, I'll make my face a little less red for y'all. My puff powder. Well, that's what I call it. I call it puff powder. It's air spun. I love this stuff. It smells so nice. But, yeah, I'll de-redify my face while I continue to talk to y'all. Because like Outer Space, I am addicted to my story, my characters, all of it. I love it all. And eventually in the story they're gonna hatch a dragon. But not the kind of dragon you see in like Game of Thrones or nothing. No, it's not gonna be like a wyvern. It's an actual, I think I even have one. An actual four-legged dragon. He's going to be a very deep, dark, bluish color. And I already named him Nigleria. Like the brain-eating amoeba. I know that sounds kind of messed up, but I like that name, Nigleria. It's either that or Macrobius. I heard that in an old book somewhere. But I like Nigleria better. So, despite being in yet another battle with Mother Dearest, I'm actually in a pretty decent mood today, because I am in no pain. None. Might have been the liquid Tylenol that helped. Yeah. When it comes to pain relief, it's always the liquids that work so much better. If they made something liquid out there for migraines, someone please let me know. Because I would love that. To finish off this video, I'm going to stand up because my feet are falling asleep. If it weren't on the floor, I'd pick up my big ass sewing machine and show it to you, but that thing weighs a good 40 pounds. It is huge. And here's another project I have in the works. This is a machine. This is a tattoo machine frame, like the outer casing. I'm gonna take apart one of the machines that came with the kit, and I'm going to put all of the parts in this frame. Because honestly, I like the Lucky 7. I like that so much better than the plain silver frame, you know. So, anyway, this has been M, also known as Wolf Bunches, here for a little story time for y'all. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your week. And also, happy Independence Day.